guys, welcome to video 4 of Shelley's Adventures. Before I can take you on any adventures outside with me, we need to talk about a few things. Today we're going to talk about 5 ways to get in touch with your higher power. A higher power. I know, you're probably not used to talking about this in this way. And you may even be confused already by what that could mean. And I'm not talking about this Santa Claus God that is waiting on a cloud and he's gonna punish you if you don't do good. That's not what this is about. If that is your understanding of your own higher power, you're most welcome to keep that one if that works for you, obviously. This is not about a religious kind of thing. It's more about a Holy Spirit that is in us all. And the way you want to call it is completely up to you. I will share with you what it means for me to connect with my higher power so you can do your own version. Just like I'm doing with this channel. I want to show you how I'm going to make most of my life and my time here, hopefully to inspire you so you can go on your own adventures and make your time here count. So, I come from an area where somehow it turned into not being cool to believe in God or a higher power. I don't mind how you call God, and I think God would not mind what you call God. That's how big this God is. This is a power that is so out of reach for me and my human limited perspective that the best thing I can do to try to communicate with it on a daily basis is call it God, because it's just easier. So a higher power, why would we need that, right? Well, if we want to go on adventures, we're gonna need something that is more than human, because me and my human perspective are already quite evolved, but still very limited. So if I have to deal with the judgment and the safety and the power and the skills of other human beings alone, I'm just not gonna make it through life. I am beyond human aid in most of my endeavors. But in this series of adventures that we're gonna go on together, we're gonna need something other than just humans. And if this is the moment that you decide, okay, I've had it with her, this is enough, then I wish you very well on your journey and we may meet again. And if not, take care. But if you're going to stick with me, I'm going to show you how to connect with your higher power so you can create a relationship where you can build upon, so you can go and live your best life. Exciting, truly. So, and to the doubters, people in doubt, I've got one last thing to say. If you truly believe there's no higher power, no power in this whole universe that's bigger than you, I dare you to go to the ocean right now and try to stop the ocean from making waves. Let me know if you've actually tried this. And this is not only for people that are in doubt, but also people that are looking for their own notion of a higher power at this point in their journey. Like, why don't you just go try it out? Go into the physical, go into nature. Try to stop a river from running. Try to stop the rain. And I'm not talking about the human measures that we can take to it. It's not like we don't have any power. Like, I live in the Netherlands. We live below sea level. So we have power in our human circle to see how we can live together with the ocean. But that's not what I'm talking about. The ocean will always be stronger than any human construct that we can think of. If anybody knows, it's the Dutch. Which inspires me to maybe make a video about the Afsluitdijk, but that's for another time. I do want to let you know that it's perfectly fine if you have zero understanding of your own higher power. And if you're still looking a lot towards more classical notions of what a God is. And I also want you to know that it's perfectly fine that a notion of a higher power is going to evolve over time. At least in my case, that's what happens. And that is what happens because my perspective gets more wide and wider when I grow. And I pull off several lenses, and sometimes I need to clean the lenses that I've got on, and then I'm just going to keep on going, and suddenly I see clearly now the rain is gone. We're on the beam. And that means that I honor my higher power in such a way that I cannot express with words alone. And that's why I'm devoting my life to making sure that I make most out of my time and that I give myself to my higher power because I trust it so much, because I have put a lot of energy into building a relationship with it, so that I can be of most service to what my higher power wants. Because I'm here to do good. I want to add something good to the world, right? We all know it can really use it. It doesn't mean that I've got to put myself on fire to keep somebody else warm. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about putting on your oxygen mask and then fly to the area where the shit is going on the strongest at the moment. And I don't know where I'm going to be of best use. I do know that my higher power knows, and it has taken me over 5 years to get to the point where I'm now in trusting my higher power. So I do want to press on your heart, like, don't make impossible demands of yourself, and don't expect yourself to be open and trusting from day one, or expect yourself to make one decision to clean out your house and then that your whole house is going to stay clean forever. That's not how this works. We've got to do it over and over and over again. It's a repetitive situation. That's why we've got one day at a time. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say about that. Let's dive into the 5 things that you can do to create a strong relationship with your higher power. 1, you got to move. Go run, go walk, go drive, go dance, go clean out your dishwasher, go do the laundry. Do something with your body. And I'm telling you, if you get through that resistance of that, it's so hard to get going, and you're going to be in your mind and you're just going to think about how good it would be if you would run every day, and if you would be a tight ass, you would just be a fit girl and you would have it all going on. And if you would fit that size 6, 4, 2, 0, if you would drive in that Mercedes, if you would have that bigger house, like all those mind fucks. If you want to get out of those, you've got to start moving. You've got to start with one little action. So I dare you, go pause this video and go outside right now and press play when you're outside. And go walk. I'm going to be in your ear even if you want to walk right now. So you don't need to see me to get the message. There's not one single way. It shouldn't be about perfection, because perfection is basically standing still, and that's not life. And I'm a big fan of the creator of life. In my opinion, I call him God. And to say that God is the creator of life and to honor God, because for me, God is everything or nothing. And God for me is everything. So that means that even the hardships and the resistance and the situations that I don't know how to get out of are part of it too, because my higher power has me in higher regards than I've got myself. That's interesting, because that means that I have to build on my relationship with myself. Didn't think of that. I thought I was praying to a Santa Claus God that would just deliver every kind of order that I place. But it turns out for me, it doesn't work to pray for things I want only for myself. I have seen miracles happen with prayer. We're going to talk about this a bit more. The second thing you can do to get in touch with your own higher power is to go outside. We basically combined it a bit in the getting in a movement. I think you can also move on a treadmill, right? That could be inside, or you could do the laundry, you could paint a wall, you could paint a painting, you could, do something with your body, you could clean your house. That's all inside. But what I'm talking about is go outside, and whether it's a city environment or is that urban? Because I almost am so prepped by the internet that urban should be more about Black culture. Anyway, if you live in a city, you can also go outside and see God. There's probably a river or a tree or something somewhere outside in your neighborhood. And you could go into the mountains if you live close to if you live close there. I live close to a forest. I live close to several parks. I could get my car and go to the Heide. This is the Heide, by the way, that Piet Mondriaan decided to go from figurative to abstract. So I figured, hey, if it works for him, it may work for me. That's what people do. We just go look at what works for other people. And what I have found and what I've listened for in other people's stories is that they go outside and they go see God's work. Literally. If you look at a tree or a mountain or a mountain with trees, or the ocean, the beautiful nature where you can just feel like there's nothing else besides you being alive in that moment. And I believe that's God. I believe that God created that. I believe that we humans have no possible way of creating that. If you look at a tree with all its details and the life inside of it, don't tell me you know how to build a tree from scratch. A tree that lives. How would you build a dog that lives? How would you create one? I'm talking about the real deal, the living beings here. Literally, how would you make it? How? You wouldn't know where to start. I don't know where to start. But what I do know is that I can wander and I can look at it and I can be amazed by the beauty of it. And that for me is a way of connecting with my higher power. And that's why I'm devoting my time and energy into building this channel, because I want to do this on a level that I can inspire others. And I hope you can do that for you. We've got to start where we are. I'm not currently hanging out of a helicopter somewhere. I'm not going with a parachute out of a plane right now. But what can I do? I can make this video. And when I'm done with this video, I can walk outside and I can look at the trees and I can see the sunlight touching the leaves and I can hear the birds go. And sometimes I can hear some service workers do some very important work when they drive by in their ambulances. Bless you. So, 1, move your body. 2, go outside, look at God's work, look at nature. 3, pray, obviously. And I'm not talking about prayer in like the whole Catholic Latin game. The whole thing that has been growing in this society is that the real deal prayer should be left to these high priests and this selective few, and then they turn it around into something very nasty. I don't want to know what those red shoes are about. I don't even want to be near these vampire societies. Like, I am not here for that. So I think that's why it's a good thing that, it got less popular over the years here in the West to practice religion. Because again, it turned out that may be sicker than we thought. So that's not a bad thing. But it doesn't mean that I cannot use prayer in my whole day. I mean, you can use anything as a prayer. I remember, I think the first time that I really started praying was when I was living in an office building in Almere 5 years ago. And it was one of the first times that I was not praying for saving my life or getting something done or getting a parking spot or getting $1 million or getting a husband that would whatever. And like the Santa Claus God. And this was the first time that I started opening up to the concept of a higher power, a real God that was bigger than anything that I could think of. And I remember just starting with, hey God, it's me and this is it. I'm gonna start building a relationship. Something like that. Something very true to my own nature. It was in a private situation. I want to share it with you so you know that you don't have to be making all these impossible demands on yourself, and you can just go start with whatever you're dealing with right now. Just go talk to this higher power, talk to this energy, and go see what it does for you. Like, it's not only about talking to a Santa Claus God that, again, I don't believe, maybe it exists because I have been praying to it for a long time, but it's not my higher power that I address right now. I also don't pray that much anymore for things that I want, not in the same way as like making an order on Amazon. I mean, I know there are stories out there for people that works like that. For me, truly, it doesn't work when I only pray for myself. And again, it's a personal thing, this whole thing called life. A personal thing. It's the utmost personal. So go find out what works for you. And for me, it works to do a combination of classical prayers that I find in literature in many different books. One of my favorites, by the way, is the almost there. Okay, yeah, here it is. It's the Saint Francis prayer. It's, Lord, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love. That where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness. That where there is discord, I may bring harmony. That where there is error, I may bring truth. That where there is doubt, I may bring faith. That where there is despair, I may bring hope. That where there are shadows, I may bring light. That where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds. It is by forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen. Yeah, that's beautiful. You can say what you want, but that's beautiful. And I love to go to these prayers that already exist because I believe that the energy that is encapsulated in these words have been going over for centuries, have been working for so many people. So, you kind of like can trust that it does something. Then there's the whole creative needed in a moment prayer, like help is a prayer, I give up is a prayer, I don't know what I'm doing prayer. I am now currently looking for a new house once again, and I'm gonna go for I think it's gonna be my 34th address in my life. I'm gonna devote another video on that because that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I know how to pack my things and go and start again, and that's also Scorpio. So one of the prayers that I love that I'm currently using is, Dear God, when and how is up to you. I'm open for my new place, adventure, job, whatever you need in life. That is something that you're asking for yourself, but you're doing it in a way that you're not in charge. So it's not like, hey, you, give me this house right now in this order and I want it yesterday, which is making a demand. We all know the difference between a demand and asking for, hey, what do you think is best for me? And how can I help you? Let me know. And please make it known in a very clear way so I won't miss it. Because I am human and I know that my higher power sometimes has a better notion of me than I have in the current moment. And I praise him for that. That makes him my higher power. But I need some human clarity, like this is it. That's the spirit. So I can ask for that. It doesn't mean that I only have to be some holy priest that is always, that's not, again, what a conscious contact with God or your higher power, as you would like to call it, is about. Way number 4, to build a conscious relationship with your higher power. How to get in touch when you have prayed and you have moved and you have worked with your body, you've been outside, you've seen what we're actually doing here, and that is visiting this beautiful planet that is flying through space on a rock made of fire. It's beautiful. It's all quite beautiful. So you've done all that. You've talked to your higher power. So number 4 is meditate. I know, oh no, not meditation. That's boring. Yeah, but for the people who say that meditation is boring, this message is for you. Have you tried it? Have you truly sat down, put your phone alarm on airplane mode and put it on 5 minutes? 5 minutes. Do 1 minute if 5 minutes is too much. Have you ever done that? Like truly done it. Like let everything go for 60 seconds. If you have and you find it boring, I say, okay, keep going. You got to try more and more because it's a practice. We practice meditation. And if you haven't, I dare you, please go and do it. 60 seconds. You could even do it right now. Pause this video, do 60 seconds of nothing. Put your phone on 60 seconds, close your eyes, sit down, and just listen to the sounds around you. That's not boring. It's resetting your own system. It's resetting your own body. It's sending a signal to the universe, to your higher power, to God, to say, hey, I'm ready to receive what you've got for me. And if that isn't beautiful, then I don't know. That means that you're creating space for a higher power to communicate with you. And that doesn't always have to happen in a blessing in disguise. It's the same way that I booked my first adventure. We're gonna go on an adventure. Like the real-time adventure is just around the corner, and I'm gonna take you with me. And I'm gonna give you in another video from A to Z how that exactly works. But I have this prayer where I just say to God, you know what? Here I am with everything I've got. I'm all yours. You can do with me as you wish. And that takes guts, because I'm used to those fearful red shoes, nasty fuckers, being in charge of what you would get. That's how I've been fed into this world from being a child on. And now suddenly I'm building a relationship with a God that is true, a true, real higher power that is in everything. I can feel it when I'm talking about it with you. It's the energy. It's the way that keeps us going. It's the one that's truly in charge. And that God knows what's best for me. And that God really loves me for who I am, because he created me the way I am so I can learn the things that I needed to learn to grow into even a better version. And that is freaking cool. So that God has my faith, my trust, and I put my complete life into his hands. And that means that I go to places that I would have never ever imagined if I would have done it on my own. Never. If I would sit down with my version of 2019 and I would tell all the things, I think my version of then would even be shocked by the way I look right now. I think my version of them would be so frightened and so broken and so scared of what's to come that it probably wouldn't even trust its own version in a better situation in the future. And that's what I want to say about that. No, that's not what I want to say about that. What I want to say is that meditation is nothing else than opening the door to your higher power and your spirit guides. That's what happens when we go out into nature and we see something beautiful and we don't hear anything else. That's when it happens, because we're not demanding anything of ourselves. That's what we practice in meditation. So that we are in demanding situations, we can also find that inner peace. That peace that brings us closer to God. That does not mean that you've got to be a monk and wear all those ugly bead necklaces and you've got to be a yoga hippie. Again, not what it's about. Meditation can be putting your alarm on 60 seconds and just sit there and then go on with your business deal, or with saving lives in a hospital, or with developing some kind of website, or with consulting some financial company. Like, the real spiritual stuff is not about the bullshit. It's about the internal being present for your own life. And that's why I believe they call the present the present. It is a gift. Meditate. Just sit down for a minute. Sit down for 2 minutes. I love guided meditations on YouTube. I love these 12-20 minutes recharge. I love yoga nidra meditations because it's just me being laid down under guidance. I need guidance for everything in my life, and even for relaxing. Just one of the best things I could think of if you want to have like a true recharging. Something that does not come from a cup of coffee, caffeine, or something else. I would advise just take 60 seconds and see what it does for you. And if 60 seconds is not enough, you make it 2 minutes. You make it 3 minutes. You just go up and up and up. And you see what meditation can do for you. I'm really excited. Maybe we can do a 30-day challenge or something. I don't know. We're gonna work on those things. Anyway, we're almost at the end of the video, and we're gonna continue with number 5 of things you can do to create a strong connection with your higher power. And this is something that I think is also not new, but it is a way that I practice my relationship with a higher power. And because I take care of myself, I can take care of others, now or in the future. So number 5 of things you can do to really build a conscious relationship with your higher power or with God is keeping a gratitude list. A gratitude list. What does that mean? Well, here, let me show you my little books. A gratitude list. These are my gratitude lists from the past 5 years. And now that I have it like this, I'm actually quite proud, because if you would have met me in 2019, you would have never guessed that I would be able to keep books filled with gratitude. I also didn't have the ability to look at what I could be grateful for back then, so I'm not blaming myself. But I'm just full of excitement for life, because this works. It works, man. It works. So this is my current gratitude list. That's a message from me to me. And that's how I get a very happy life, because I'm putting in work to create happiness for myself. My natural state of being would take me to depression and to take me to a mindset of it's never enough and nothing that I have is worth living for. You know, it can go dark really easy and it can escalate very quickly. But because I train my mind on a daily basis, work on gratitude lists, and that means that I write down every day 10 things that I'm grateful for. No, I'm not a robot, I'm not a computer, no. But I can say that I probably did like 80% of that. And that means that it is worth doing it, because maybe I probably did higher. Yeah, so when you train, okay, so this is my gratitude list of 24 and 25, and it's 26 and I'm still writing in it. Sometimes I do it digital, sometimes I do it in a spot gratitude list. Sometimes I just say, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And then, yeah, I just want to go through all these gratitude lists right now, so I've got to put them away. But look at that, people, look at that. I really write this down with a pen and paper, and I just write down 10 things that I am grateful for. And there are days where it's like, I'm grateful for being alive, or I'm grateful for coffee, I'm grateful for the internet, you know, like I'm grateful for, I don't know, watching a show on repeat. Some days it's more about the exercise of doing it than that I'm grateful in that particular moment. But I always feel better after writing down 10 things. Always. And sometimes you need to write about other things than what you're grateful for before you can actually go on with your gratitude practice. And that means that you've got to just live in the moment and see what God has for you. Okay. So that means that we came to the end of this video. And now that we're at it, I just want to give you a little bonus. I can feel that we need to talk about one more thing. It's a little bonus. So what do we have in the bonus? Well, it's called blessing. Blessing. Bless you. God bless. I don't know about you, but I have a tendency of going around the world, and when I'm in a supermarket or waiting in line, or I'm in the car, in the traffic on my way to work, or I'm skiing on a piste, or I'm waiting in line at a bar or a little cafe, or I'm gonna order something lovely. There's this natural tendency of being annoyed by other people and trying to curse them. And I'm not doing it on purpose. Again, it's not what I want, but it's something that I've been taught in this world. And that's why I lately have been introduced to something that's called blessing. So what you do is, it's really simple. Instead of saying F you, you're saying bless you. And when you bless that other person, you say, and bless me too. Let's see what you can do with that. Let's just try it out. I'm not kidding. The energy that it creates, the positive energy that you're sending out to someone else, touching that other aura with your energy, and then turning it back to you and saying, hey, bless me too. That is so much more powerful on a positive effect than saying, you know, like that, let's saw each other in half. Let's fight each other before breakfast because that's familiar. That's all we know. We don't want to change anything. Let's start blessing people on the way. And let's just see what you get back. Don't expect anything, because not everybody is gonna be happy, blessy back to you. But it is so much more fun to pass someone on the highway while you say, bless you, baby, and bless me too. It's so much more fun than to just go around. I dare you. Let me know who you have blessed. And this is our little bonus, a bonus blessing. I didn't even know that existed in this whole video show, but we can just do whatever we want because I'm doing this from a higher place. And that's where we're gonna end this video. You have made it through video 4, and that means that you're ready for video 5. Thank you so much, and see you next time.